Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Amber Bauer. I'm the founder of Donate for Refugees, and I am delighted to have with me today Osama and Ruhi from Refugee Biryani and Bananas, who are joining me live from Chios. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We last spoke to this, so this is the first one of the new year, first of our Facebook Lives of the new year, and it's really great to be back. We last spoke to Ruhi on the 17th of May last year, and I remember at the time that she was listing off all the things that were happening for refugees and for volunteers at the time on the Aegean Islands. So now we're in for a catch-up to see what's been happening since then. I'm going to start today, as we have both Osama and Ruhi with us, I'm going to start today with some quick fire questions, just so that we can get to know them a tiny little bit better before we start, and then we'll hear a little bit about what's happening in Chios at the moment. So Osama, as you're on my left, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's good.
So we'll start with your name, an easy one.
Okay, my name is Osama.
And where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
How long have you been in Chios?
Yeah, I was here like 2 years ago now.
How long have you been with Refugee Biryani and Bananas?
It's like since the first lockdown, now that's been 7 months.
Wow, long time. More easy ones. What's your favorite meal, either to cook or to eat?
Okay, it's called couscous. I can't cook this because I can't. So just, yeah, I can eat.
To eat, lovely. What
Yeah.
TV show are you following at the moment?
I don't have like speech or something I watch now, just I'm enjoying with movies and yeah, stuff.
What would be your favorite movie, if you don't mind me asking?
Like the name of the movie or
Yes.
yeah, The Hobbit.
Oh, one of my husband's favorites.
I like horror movies as well.
Yeah, I'll say like The Hobbit, the favorite.
Do you have a pet at the moment, or would you like to have one in the future?
I don't have like at this moment, but I would like to have cat because it's my favorite.
Oh, I have two. And what do you like to do to chill out, to relax?
Sorry?
What do you like to do to relax, to chill out?
Like in my life.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I like really to be like volunteering, help the people to be like a little bit stable, and that's like this make me really enjoy and relax.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ruhi, your turn. Easy questions first. What's your name?
Ruhi actor.
And where are you from?
I'm from the UK.
How long have you been in Chios?
I've been volunteering in Chios for 3.5 years now, but I was coming backwards and forwards, and I've been here full time since 1 year ago.
Fantastic. How long have you been with Refugee Biryani and Bananas, your own organisation?
1/2 years. We've had Refugee Biryani and Bananas.
And what's your favourite meal, either to cook or to eat?
It would be a Bangladeshi curry, a spicy one.
A spicy one to cook?
To cook and to eat.
I've had one of your curries and it's fantastic. What TV show are you following at the moment?
I'm not following anything right now. I start watching things and then I stop because I get too busy.
And a favourite movie?
Favorite movie? I don't have anything right now. Bollywood movies is something I would watch.
Fair enough. And do you have a pet, or would you like one in the future?
I don't have a pet, but one of our volunteers and friends who lives upstairs to me has a dog called Maria. So we all like Maria.
A community pet.
A community pet, yeah.
And what do you do to chill out?
I like to be beside the sea. I just like looking at the sea and nature.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much. I like doing these quick fires because it just means we get to know you quite quickly and to know a little bit about you. So to move on from there, how did you start working together? How did Osama come to join and be a volunteer with Refugee Biryani and Bananas? And if I could start with you, Ruhi, and then see what Osama would like to add.
So I think I got to know Osama during the first lockdown. We were having some issues because during that time we couldn't communicate with people in the camp. They didn't always have internet. They couldn't use their phones. Sometimes they don't have phones. It was lockdown. So I was just trying to reach out to other people to find out more about the situation and see what was happening. And I think Osama was introduced to me by a volunteer in the UK, and then we got talking. And then soon after, he said he would like to volunteer with us.
Fantastic. Do you have anything to add, Osama?
Yeah, so since the lockdown, the first one, like 7 months ago, I started and like message here that say I want to be like a volunteers and I want to help the people, because there was like communication between the Palestinian people. If they need anything, help, something, then I sent to Ruhi that they need like blah 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 and that thing. So I keep messaging her, and she keep telling me that we don't have any space now because of the lockdown. We don't need any more volunteers. But like by the comments, we're together now.
He was on my waiting list. I think it's important to say that, like, especially in RBB, we really want to work with the community. The brothers on my team and sisters, they are our family. And I feel like, we often come in with like preconceived ideas, but only from the community themselves. They know better than us. So I think it's really important to work with people from the community. And I'm really grateful to have Osama on the team.
Thank you.
Oh, he seems awesome. Okay, and can you go on from there then to explain, you talked about the community, can you explain a little bit about what the situation's like in Vial camp and for refugees on Chios at the moment? Do you maybe...
I think you want to start.
You start.
Okay. So let's say like the whole situation in the camp, like about the people, it was like about last winter 6,000 maybe, and now 3,500. So the situation's, it's really not that good. It's a little bit bad. The place is it's not that clean. The food also is not that good. And about like the papers also it's need really long time to finish here. And with the COVID-19, like it's become worse because like the lockdown, like going ahead to the camp, so you can't leave from the camp, and also the organization they can't come to the distribution to help the people in Israel, and this is like make the thing and the situation like worse. This is like in general.
I think there's just like ongoing struggles, and corona pandemic has made it worse. As Osama was saying when he referred to papers, what he means is that people's asylum cases have been delayed or suspended. And we still have people being rejected in their asylum claims, in particular the Syrian community, the Afghanistani community. People are being put in detention for second rejections. And not just that, there seems to be an increase of people being put in detention for doing nothing or minor crimes, which is quite concerning. So we're trying to support people who are detained. Other than that, yes, the camp is probably half the size of last winter, but it's still a struggle. People are still in tents and shelters without lighting, heating, electricity, adequate food or nutrition. As Osama said, we can't get aid in properly and they can't come out properly. And I think one of the main things we struggled with this year, which Osama can probably also vouch for, is that, the laws have changed where people who have now received their asylum claims 1 month after receiving that, their cash allowances are cut, their food allowances are cut, and they are no longer eligible for, if they're in sort of like accommodation because of the vulnerabilities, that's cut. But also people in camp, not that you can call it a home to begin with, they no longer have shelter either. They can't afford to be in accommodation in the city. And, we're constantly getting people calling to support with that. They have nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we're hearing about this from across here, and I just can't believe it. And we also know that when people are getting their papers, they're moving across to the mainland, and the same is happening there as well. But there are people staying on the island, and they're being left with no shelter, no accommodation, no food, no money, small allowance. And I don't know what they're supposed to do.
There's nothing. I mean, there's people with families and children, no medical support, and I feel like there should be some sort of apprenticeship scheme where they can be put into education or work. Otherwise, how can people make their lives?
Yeah.
It's not life at all.
No.
And also the struggles, like you can't get your passport unless you have a housing contract, which recently changed, but they can't get a housing contract for housing.
They live in the camp.
They live in the camp. They can't afford housing. It's difficult to get housing on the island to begin with.
Yeah, Exactly. And you mentioned earlier the meals inside of the camp. So if we focus on that for a second, can you describe some of the food that you've witnessed or eaten whilst, and maybe in the last like 6 months, that you've witnessed that the food that the people in camp
What the food in
receive?
camp?
Okay. When I was living in the camp, like 1 year ago, the food was really like you can't eat the food without cooking it. Like you have to cook it again to can eat it because it's and sometimes like the food there's like thing inside it like like it's not good at all. But I think now it's a little bit better, but it's still like not for human. I think.
And how
So
long
for
do you
example,
stand in line for the food?
Well, now you need 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Take your food, which is really bad.
and how many times a day is that?
Coming.
How many times a day do you queue for food?
3. You have to be there 3 times.
So it's 2 hours, 3 times a day.
Yeah. So you have
And
to
when
stand from the morning until the evening to get your food.
and when you say it's uncooked, you mean, oh, you have to cook it again? You mean like if they give you rice, the rice isn't cooked properly, or the chicken maybe?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
And when there's things in it, like maggots?
Yeah, something like that. Sometimes you have to throw it.
If you had to, like, how often is the food not good? Is it every day, or is it just like once a week? Sometimes they're not
Not every day, but some like
often.
almost. Like in general, not good.
Yeah, yeah. I have seen some of the food, and I've tried some of the food, and it's not something I would recommend to anybody. And right now, of course, it's winter time. So what's the weather? How's the weather impacting things?
So the weather now in Chios, it's winter, and for the camp is really bad because everything is become a damage with the rain. So that like the people live in tents, that means the water will come inside, and the children is inside, and the families, the ladies. So everything is damaged with the rain. Sometimes you can't walk in the camp if there is rain. Like it's really bad.
And I think it's just very cold. I mean, I feel
Yes,
cold
very
in my
cold, very
apartment.
cold.
And if you're living in a tent and it's up on the hill as well, it's colder. And if you don't have adequate nutrition or you're living in this like stressed environment, your immune system is already down. I think it just freezes your soul. That's what I think it does to people.
Freezing.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I genuinely don't know how we don't have more deaths in the camp. I don't know how people are surviving it. If you go to bed, if you go to sleep wet and it's cold at night, it's impossible to warm up. And I don't know how people find the strength to get through the night sometimes. So
I mean,
for
the people are some of the most strongest that I know, but I do also know that, they are impacted psychologically as well. I mean, a gentleman tried to commit suicide recently, and then there was a child as well who'd actually climbed on top. I don't know if you heard about that. He climbed on top of the building, Palestinian, I think, and he tried to jump off as well. And I think he was only 11 or 10. But, this is the reality on Europe, that people are being forced to these camps, living in like conditions that aren't even made for humans. It's absolutely despicable.
No, I know, you're giving me goosebumps just talking about it. I completely agree. I think we all do. That's why we're here. And you talked about mental health there. So COVID obviously has taken its toll as well, because this, as you mentioned earlier, it means people can't leave the camps. So it's wet, it's cold, there's bad food. But now on top of that, people are also in isolation inside of the camp, and it's difficult to leave the camp. That must be taking its toll on people.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think, people within camps are already in a form of isolation. We're new to lockdown, but these guys have been in lockdown for a long time because they're living in camps. They can't always travel out. But this added lockdown makes it worse. I mean, lockdown means locked away for people. There's added restrictions for people in the camp. And I've seen people myself, how like damaging it is to them. I mean, even within the people from my team from the camp, I've seen deterioration. And that's really quite worrying.
No, very much so. We've just entered into our 3rd or 4th lockdown in the UK, and this one is quite a strong one. And I'm noticing quite a big difference in people's response to this one in comparison to previous ones? First of all, because it's winter. Second, because it's been such a long time now. People are fatigued with the whole thing. But there's one thing to be locked in a home in your town with your neighbours, with a park up the road we can go for a walk in. It's something else to be locked inside a refugee camp in these conditions. And I again, the resilience of the people that are within that camp is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, if we move on from that, can you talk a little bit about how the work that Refugee Biryani and Bananas is doing and what you're focusing on in order to help?
I mean, currently we're trying to do food distributions. We've just finished a distribution for about 3,000 people, giving them rice, oil, sugar, salt, tomato sauce, and face masks as well, to help with the coronavirus pandemic. And then we did a special distribution for the people. So we gave an extra pack to those people who didn't have a cash allowance or had Greek IDs or black cartia, because what people are asking for is they're asking us to help with housing, and we can't sustainably or fairly help people with housing. But we feel like, everybody needs food. If we can somehow give a little bit extra food, it might just relieve some of the financial burdens on them. It's our way of trying to help. Our next distribution is starting tomorrow. We have been donated tangerines, local tangerines, and then we asked the community what kind of other fruit and vegetables they wanted, and they asked for onions and potatoes. And I think it's really important to listen to the community and what they want. So that's our next distribution, and we'll be putting like face masks into the packs as well.
Fantastic. Osama, do you want to add to that how important the food packs are to people? What difference it makes?
I think the foods, last time we just focus on the food because it's really important. The people, they need this food like rice and oil and tomatoes, like this is really important because sometimes like they can't go from the camp because of the lockdown, they can't go from the camp to the city to buy this stuff, and it's really important for them, and they can't receive them from the camp, so they can cook, they can do everything they want with this food. So it's really important that we did the food bags.
Yeah, definitely, and it's something we've supported with as well, because we can just see how important it is.
Yeah, Donate for Refugees have sponsored some of the food packs, and we're really grateful for that. So thank you so much. I do have to say, our food packs, because we're covering like thousands of people, they do not last long. So, £2, €2 will buy a packet of fruit and vegetables for people, £5 for a food pack. So please keep donating if you can. Every little pound or penny will matter.
So did you know my next question is how can we help from home?
No.
And I think and I think that you have an active fundraiser as well. So by all means post that in the comments on this video link. But if you want to point anybody in the direction of the fundraiser and what you're up to next, to add to what you've already said, go for it now.
Yeah, so like I said, we're starting a distribution, which we were going to do it in 2 weeks' time, but we had to bring it forward because of the weather and the tangerines still being on the trees, which might get damaged. So we're starting tomorrow, and we haven't raised enough funds for it. Like I said, £2 or €2 will buy 1 kg potato, 750 grams of onions, and 1 kg mandarins for one person. So a family of 4 will get 4 times that. So please donate if you can. Otherwise, please keep advocating and supporting the people here. Please help us raise awareness. Share our posts. We don't have enough volunteers on the ground, but of course it's not safe to travel right now with the COVID pandemic as well. We can only take long-term volunteers who can quarantine on the ground, but otherwise we do have very competent volunteers from the community, like our brothers, like Osama, who help us as well. So it's not worth taking the risk. But please keep sharing. Please, if you're not aware of how to help, just contact us. You don't have to do anything special. You can just be the girl next door by just telling your neighbor about it. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, please support us as you can, as possible you can, and donate for the people, because €2 it's really makes difference for the people, for one person, for one family. And if you can't donate, just help as possible you can. Share the post, tell your friends, your neighbor, and if you find it difficult, you can contact us and we will help you for that. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I think for your volunteers as well, it's useful if they have a driving license.
Yes, please, drivers or anybody who can drive bigger vehicles like vans, because we have a lot of aid to transport.
fantastic. I just thought I'd pop that in there because you mentioned me earlier. Now, I'm just adding here some comments from people that are listening. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. We don't actually have any questions for you, but if anybody does have any questions that they want to ask, then pop them in the chat now and I'll ask them before we sign off. But is there anything, I just want to invite you to say some final words. If you had some messages for the people back home, for the people here, for the people watching, what would be your final words and your messages to anybody about what's happening in Chios and what we all need to do? So, Osama, can I put you on the spot first?
Yeah. So my message to the people that's like to care really about the people, to help the people as possible they can, to donate for the refugee in Greece, and especially we are here in Chios, and to help the people as possible they can. If you can't help, share the post, share our message, tell your friend, your neighbor, and anything you want we can help you, just contact us. Like my message to the people.
Oh, thank you, Osama. It's been really nice to meet you today.
Thank you, me too.
And Ruhi, what about you? Your final words?
So I have a message for everybody from some of the brothers and sisters who are living in Vial Camp. I was talking to them last night and I was telling them I was going to be on this live interview today, and they wanted me to share with everybody. Firstly, they would like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Secondly, they would like to wish you all happiness and health and just safety from the coronavirus pandemic. So these are people who are already in such a difficult situation, and that's the message for the world.
Which is absolutely beautiful and doesn't surprise me at all. And I hope that they know that certainly from us and from everybody that supports us at Donate for Refugees, all of your own supporters, we're devastated by the conditions that people are living in inside of Europe, and it's why we help, and we want them to know that we're here. We wish them health and happiness and their children the futures that they deserve. And it's not something that should be happening in the 21st century, and it needs to change, and we're all doing everything that we can to make it change in the background as well, and wish them a happy and healthy new year.
Thank you.
Well, I would like to say a huge thank you for joining us today. As I said at the beginning, this kicks off the first series of 2021. We're going to be back in 2 weeks' time. We're in Samos with Barbara and Vagelis, who have started We for Kids in Samos, where they're feeding the children of the camp. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you, Osama. Thank you, Ruhi.
Thank you.
Thank you.